Good morning, everybody. My name is Courtney and welcome to this half an hour Vinyasa flow. It's a heart opening sequence, and this morning you will require just a prop of choice. I recommend grabbing a couple of blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use a rolled up towel or a bolster. If you're using the blocks, place a block in the center of your mat. This is going to support the base of your skull, and the second block will support the space in between your shoulder blades. So we're going to get started in a supported back bend. Take time to place your body on the support. And as an offering, have feet together, knees wide. Arms resting beside the body, or you can have the arms intuitively placed. And allow the shoulder heads to just mold and drip over the support. So you open up through the front of the chest. And we begin in this heart-opening gesture, and all of the postures and shapes and gestures we move through and make in yoga are all designed to evoke certain energetic qualities in your body. And when we encourage an opening through the front of the chest and the thoracic cavity, we increase that pranic flow of energy towards the direction of your heart. And this morning I'll be inviting you to enter the feeling of your energetic heart through the physicality of your body and also through the felt sense. So when we follow any sense with your fullest attention, that being what you might hear or what you might feel in your body, or what you might see, you start to become quite curious with how you receive obvious level of information to all the space in between. And your heart deciphers what brings you love and delight. So within this class, each and every moment is an opportunity to just choose where you place your attention. Perhaps it's a sound that you really enjoy, or perhaps it's a feeling in the body that feels quite good, or perhaps it's when you close the eyes and you can see that space and that stillness. Take a full breath into the belly and a long breath out. And you draw your knees in towards one another and take time to come off of the prop. And you'll place blocks over towards one side and make your way to a 4-point position. From here you can tuck your toes if you wish, setting up for a couple of rounds of cat-cow. So as you inhale, you'll soften your belly, looping the back of the heart forward and up through the gateway of your arms, and then as you exhale, you'll press the floor away from you, rounding the upper spine. Back of the heart presses towards the ceiling. A few more rounds in your own time. So as you start to connect to the rhythm of your breath, you'll awaken any amount of sensation through the entire body, and allowing your breath to move with your body, almost like it becomes symbiotic, it becomes one. And then finding your way to downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. You're more than welcome to pedal out the feet from left to right if that feels good, or come straight into stillness. You'll press the center of your palms down and forward as you move the frontal hip bones further away from the heel of your hands. And allow for the bottom tips of the shoulder blades to simply scoop the organ of the heart forward, and take a full breath in and a long breath out. From here, raise your heels super high, ripple forward to a high plank position. You'll drive the heels back to start to stretch the calf muscles, and then again move the center of the chest through the gateway of the arms. As you exhale, soften your knees, move the frontal hip bones up and back in space as you align the ears with your triceps. 2 more like that. Inhale. The belly nudges the middle back, the upper back, crown of the head extends forward, seeking space through the whole back body. And then as you exhale, you'll soften the belly in towards the back of the spine and allow for the heart to be higher than the brain. From here, raise your heels, start to walk your way to the top of the mat. Have the feet hip-width distance apart and taking any variation through the arms as you wish. So perhaps holding opposite elbows or interlacing the hands at the nape of the neck, allowing for the elbows to move towards the earth as you soften the back of the knees. Crown of the head extends towards the ground. From here, release the arms, press down through your feet, begin to rise. Stacking all the bones as you lift the heart, sweep your arms all the way to the ceiling. Very gentle back bend at the upper part of the shape. Take a forward fold, let it be super passive on your out breath. Again, allowing the heart to be higher than the brain, allowing the crown of the head to move towards the earth. And then as you take a halfway lift, breathe in to seek space through the back body. Breathe out, palms to the earth, step back to a high plank position. Again, moving your heels back as you drive the crown of the head forward. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, lower halfway, Chaturanga Dandasana. Roll over the top of the toes, press the tops of the feet in towards the earth to lift the kneecaps, and then see if you can slide the shoulders a little bit further away from the ears. Guide the side ribs forward as you lift the chest. Use your core to pull you back to downward facing dog. Inhale to raise your heels. Exhale to walk your way to the top of the mat. You can use one big step or a few little. Inhale to take a halfway lift, looping the heart forward and up. Exhale, forward fold. And press down through your feet, begin to rise. The back of the heart pulls you all the way to stand as you liven through the front of the chest. Illuminate through the fingertips as you take a gentle back bend at the top of the shape. And exhale, forward fold. Soften through the middle back, the upper back, back of the neck. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, palms to the earth. Step your right foot back, followed by your left. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale to lower. So Chaturanga Dandasana, elbows pressing back. And then Upward facing dog as you roll over the toes, soften your elbows. Downward facing dog on out breath. One more round of Surya Namaskar A. So as you raise your heels, gaze forward, make your way to the top of the mat for a halfway lift. Shoulders away from the ears. Forward fold on your exhale. And press down through your foundation, begin to rise, sweeping the arms all the way to the ceiling. Fingertips towards the sky as you lift the chest. Forward fold on your exhale. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, palms to the earth, step back to a high plank position. Take a breath in to prepare. Exhale, lower halfway. Upward facing dog to really elongate and stretch the abdominal wall. And then fire up the pit of the belly as core draws in and up, rolling over the toes. Pressing the inner heels, the outer heels down and towards the earth. Inhale to raise your heels, gaze forward, start to make your way to the top of the mat. Have the feet hip width distance apart, give yourself space, and then take a seat, Utkatasana chair pose. Lift the chest as you move the sitting bones back in space, forward fold on your exhale. Start to shift your weight into the right foot as you cast the left leg up and back in space. Think about taking a halfway lift through the front of the chest, almost as though you're envisioning the heart moving further away from the left toes. Soften your right knee, Vinyasa, ball of the left foot lands. Descend the back knee, take a deep breath in as you move the bowl of the pelvis further forward and down. Half Hanuman, shift the left knee a centimeter back behind you. You can tent the fingertips as you guide the right heel further forward and down, halfway lift. Child's pose on your exhale, knees together, walking the fingertips a little bit further forward to elongate through the underside of the arms. Inhale, round forward to hands and knees. Setting up for Dolphin Pose. Forearms land parallel to the sides of the mat. Think about elevating through the back of your heart. So as you press the organ of the heart towards the ceiling, you'll come out of the shoulder girdle. Extend the legs best of your ability, walking your toes quite close in towards your elbows. From here, gazing in between the thumbs, press down through the heel of the hands, begin to extend your arms as you peel the hips up and back in space. From here, raise your heels super high, start to walk your way to the top of the mat. Have the feet hip width distance apart, take a seat once more for Utkatasana chair pose. Elongating the arm bones further forward as you lift the chest. Forward fold on your exhale. Perhaps there's a little bit more room now to extend the back of the legs. As you shift your weight into the left foot, swing the right leg up and back in space. Take a halfway lift, crown of the head moves further away from your right toes. Seek expansion through the back body before you start to make your way towards the earth. All of the right foot lands, lower the back knee, take a full breath in. Shoulders away from the ears, gentle arc in the upper part of the body before making your way to half Hanuman. Again, you might like to shift the right knee back, flex the left toes, take a halfway lift. Child's pose, hips to heels, big toes together, walking the fingertips further forward. From here, inhale, round forward to hands and knees. Setting up for dolphin plank this time, so forearms press. Extend the back legs. Press your heels back to stretch the calf muscles. And then move the base of your ribs closer towards the frontal hip bone, so crown of the head extends forward. Making your way to Dolphin Pose, walking the toes quite close in towards your elbows as you lift the hips. And downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. You can adjust the hands and you can adjust the feet so it's a little bit wider and giving yourself space. Inhale, raise the right leg all the way to the ceiling. Open up the hip, bend the knee if it feels good for you. Fallen triangles as you ripple forward. Keep the crest in the back of the heart as you shoot the right leg out underneath you. Dial the back foot in and down as you lift the chest. From here, flip dog, left hand lands. Swivel over towards the knife edge of the right foot and then drip the right toes back behind you. Extend the right arm towards the ceiling. Take a deep breath in. On your exhale, return back to a lunge pose. Hug your right knee in towards your chest. Lightly step and then find your way to crescent. So as you reach the fingertips all the way to the ceiling, take a gentle back bend. Hands to heart center. Begin to project the back of the heart forward and taking a twist. Can you press your left heel back? Right knee moves forward. And a sense of buoyancy through the underside of the body. So you want to lift your hips as you roll the right shoulder back and down the body. Next breath in, be super mindful of your exit as you return back to Crescent Lunge. Open up to Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. My back is going to face the camera, so separate the feet quite wide apart here. Spread the arms further apart, take a breath in. On the exhale, side angle pose, Parsva Canasta, reaching the left arm overhead. From here, return back to a low lunge. Pivot onto the ball of the left foot, lower the back knee, take a deep breath in. Lift the chest, half Hanuman, so half splits. You might like to shift your left knee just a centimeter back behind you as you flex the right toes, lift the chest. Child's pose, hips to heels. Inhale, round forward to hands and knees. Setting up for Anahatasana, walking the hands out in front of you. Tuck your toes, ensure that the hips are perpendicular towards the earth. Start to maneuver the front of the chest, the heart all the way down towards the ground. And finding your way back to a forearm plank. Forearms land, extend the legs. Crown of the head moves forward, take a breath. Dolphin Pose. Start to walk the toes quite close in towards the elbows. So you lift the hips, come out of your shoulders so we're not dumping all of the weight into the shoulder joint, the knees. And downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. You might like to separate the feet and the arms a little bit further apart so it creates space. Inhale, raise the left leg all the way to the ceiling. Open up the hip, bend the knee. From here, coming to fallen triangle. So as you ripple forward, keep the rounding through the upper spine. Shoot the left leg out underneath you. Extend the right arm towards the ceiling. Lift your hips. Right palm lands. Swivel over towards the knife edge of the right foot this time. Drip the left toes back behind you as you lift the left arm towards the ceiling. From here, coming back to a lunge, hug your left knee in towards your chest. Lightly step forward. Find your feet, come all the way up. Hands to heart center. Lift the chest. Start to project the back of the heart forward. Keep the position through the hips as you hook the right elbow this time on the outside of the left thigh. Inhale, return back to center. Exhale, open up to warrior two. Be mindful of this transition. You're moving through internal rotation to external rotation. You may like to separate the feet a little bit wider apart, and then that knee, that front knee, is going to be the driver. So as it moves forward and down, it's going to deepen your experience of the shape. Take a full breath in. On the exhale, Parsva Canasta, side angle pose. So left elbow lands, arcing the right arm overhead. Finding your way back to a lunge. Pivot onto the ball of the right foot. Descend the back knee. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, half Hanuman pose, half split. Shift your right knee a centimeter back to keep that equilibrium between the left hip and the right hip. Take a halfway lift. Child's pose, knees together. Take a moment just to ground, just to come into the quality of this particular gesture. Inhale, round forward to hands and knees. Grab your two blocks if you have it handy and place them shoulder width distance apart. Tuck your toes, place your elbows on top of the blocks, hands at heart center, and start to magnetize the heart towards the earth. As you do, guide the thumb tips towards the base of the skull, allowing for the forehead to just soften and settle into the foundation. Again, be mindful of your exit. As you place the forearms back on towards the blocks, you'll place your blocks over towards one side and making your way to downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. From here, raise your right leg all the way to the ceiling. Open up the hip, bend the knee if it feels good for you. Right knee hugs in towards the chest. Lightly gaze forward. Come to Crescent Lunge once more. So lifting the chest. Squeezing the inner thighs together to lift the pelvic floor. Making your way to Dakasana. So as you sweep the arms back behind you, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lean forward, using the muscles along the length of the spine to lift the chest. Forward fold on your exhale. You can take this transition to be really passive and soft. And press down through your feet, begin to rise. Shift your weight into the left foot, drawing the right heel in towards your right sitting bone. And then take a hold of the inside of the right foot as you extend the left arm towards the ceiling. Think of upward lift of energy, so pranic flow all the way towards the heart as you lift the chest. Continue to kick into the right hand. Keep that position through the front of the chest as you lean forward. Very, very slowly be mindful of your release. Take a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms to the earth. Step back to a high plank position. Take a breath in. On the exhale, lower halfway. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left leg rises all the way to the ceiling. Open up the hip, bend the knee. Left knee hugs in towards the chest. Lightly step forward. Crescent lunge, deep breath in. Just for a moment, capture that experience of lifting the chest, opening up through the front channel of the body. before making your way to Dakasana. So sweeping the arms back behind you, squeeze the shoulder blades together, lean forward, take flight. So shifting your gaze and your awareness on one point in the room as you feel into the whole body, creating even more space through the front channel as you lift the chest. Forward fold to soften, let all of that go. Press down through your feet, begin to rise, shifting your weight into the right foot, this time squeezing the left heel in towards the left sitting bone, taking a hold of the instep of the left foot as you extend the right arm towards the ceiling. Take a breath in. As you exhale, begin to kick into the left hand, but keep that lift through the front of the chest. Very, very slowly, without rubber banding the foot, release and take a forward fold. Inhale, take a halfway lift. Exhale, palms to the earth, step back to a high plank position. Lower halfway, chaturanga, rolling over the toes. Press into the tops of the feet to lift the chest. Downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Knees to the earth, come to a child's pose. Allow for the middle back and the upper back to completely soften and relax. Walking your hands towards your knees, tuck your toes, and setting up for Ustrasana, Camel Pose. So you'll lift your hips, ensure that the hips are perpendicular towards the earth. Place your hands on your sacrum, fingertips facing up. And then again, you want to think of moving the energy from your belly all the way up through the lungs to the base of the throat. So take a deep inhale, pulling the breath from the base all the way to the crown as you move the hips further forward, squeezing your shoulder blades together, lifting the heart. If you feel ready, placing one palm on the heel followed by the other. Again, recalibrate. So same action, squeezing the shoulder blades together, moving your hips further forward, thinking about pulling the breath all the way up to the base of the throat as you take a very, very soft back bend. And be mindful of your exit. So support your lower spine before coming all the way back up. Making your way to downward facing dog. Straight away, envision the tailbone moving towards your heels to rid the lower back of any stagnation or feeling of knots. And raise your heels super high, start to walk your way to the top of the mat. Have the feet hip width distance apart, take a seat, chair pose, Utkatasana. Maybe you might like to use the hands or without, come to a seat, making your way to Navasana. So let it be just modified for today. So toes towards the knees, shoulders away from the ears, take a breath in. As you breathe out, begin to press the soles of the feet further forward, come to low Boat Navasana before making your way onto your backs. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Take a very gentle twist, allowing the knees to knock over towards one side. Making your way over towards the opposite side, so coming through the center, knocking your knees over towards the left. Just notice what you notice, so start to become aware of what you place your attention on, whether or not it's mind-oriented, or if it's coming purely from the energetic heart. And coming back to the center and taking happy baby. So Pressing the lower back in towards the earth, you'll wrap your two-piece fingers around the big toes, broadening through the soles of the feet as you lengthen the back of the neck and the front of the throat. And hugging your knees back in towards the chest. And finding your way to your final gesture, Shavasana. And set the shape up as you would any other. Tuck your tailbone very slightly and press the lower back in towards the earth. You'll move the base of the skull towards the back of your mat as you allow for room for the heart to simply rest. And you know those moments of great awe or delight, you might spontaneously hold the breath, almost like when holding the breath, time is suspended or paused, just so you can really savor those moments that feel incredible. So within a rested shape, I really encourage and invite for you to take a breath in through the belly and guide the breath all the way up towards the top of the throat. Sip in a little bit more air at the top of the shape, even more, even more. And allow for that release to be super natural. Allow for the mind to drop into the body. And let this shape take form in a way that serves you. So rather than resting in resistance or contraction, allow your mind to drift and to wander and dream. Bringing your awareness back into your body as you start to open the sense gates, sensing what you feel, noticing what you hear, and exploring that space way beyond the eyes. Take a breath. Stay for an exhale. You might like to reach the arms overhead, a gentle arc through the upper part of the spine as you lift the heart. And hugging the knees in towards your chest, rolling over towards one side, and take as much time as you need to arrive in a very comfortable seat. And placing the left palm on top of the heart and the right palm following. And lift the chest. And consider what you feel grateful for within this particular moment. And a gentle bow of the head, honoring this body and this practice. Namaste. Thank you guys. I hope you feel more connected to the whole body and more connected to the mind